Yes, my people, welcome back to AFTV. I'm joined by James today to go through a predicted 11 for the Wolves versus Arsenal game at Molineux this Saturday at 7:45 p.m. kickoff, a late one. And we're going to get into it. Now, listen, we're going to do it a little bit different because I think the 11 picks itself, James, as we're quite aware at the moment. Obviously, it's the game just before the World Cup. We kind of know our strongest 11, but we're going to kind of break down how we can beat Wolves, why Arteta favourites certain players like Zinchenko, and we'll get into all of that. So stick with us, let us know in the comments your predicted 11, and if you agree with what we're going to be saying throughout this video. So how do you want to start? Do you want to just
I think we build the predicted 11, and obviously if you guys in the comment section disagree with what we've gone with, you think you might do something different, you let us know. But I think, Riley, we're expecting Ramsdale
to
start in goal. Apparently it wasn't a great showing the other day, but he's young, and we wish him all the best. But
Ramsdale returns back in.
Ramsdale returns. In fact, let's make all these icons just a little bit bigger.
Oh, you're such a whiz. I'm so glad to be back.
Doesn't even look any different. There we go.
You make it bigger.
Even a bit bigger. Well, there we go.
That looks better. Okay, so Ramsdale in goal, been superb this first half of the season. Matt Turner going to the World Cup as well, an international keeper, but we don't expect to see him.
No, Austin Trusty. Look, while I can't speak about whether he should have or should have stayed, I don't know. But shame for him because apparently he's playing really well for Birmingham. But
Ramsdale in goal. Okay, right back. Ben White, I'm sure, keeps his place. Oh, that looks big. Okay, that does look bigger now.
Yeah,
he's increased the size.
He's been a class act all season. At the time of recording, multiple reports saying that he is going to get his place in the England squad, and that's thoroughly deserved. And it's not just because there are certain players out. He should be there on merit. He's been, I think, one of the best defenders in the league this season, going forward and defensively. I think he's been immense, and he's adapted to this new position, remember. So, yeah, of course, we keep Ben White in there.
And offer something different for the England side in that position, I think, than what we currently have. And I think you need that going into the World Cup this year. So, yeah, Ben White has been superb. And a favourite of mine now, I did throw my hands up and apologise because that 50 million price tag when he first signed, I was like, don't know how he's gonna fit in this Arsenal side, and if he will play for that price tag. But he's been absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
Into the centre back pairing, Gabriel.
Do you want to grab Saliba and I'll grab Gabriel?
I'll grab Saliba and put him right here. We got William Saliba.
Great work.
Another defender who I think
they've been immense
in the league. Yeah.
Joint best defensive record in the league. In fact, we may as well complete the back four then. We're going with Zinchenko. I mean, he's actually not been as big a part of the defensive resilience we've seen recently. Zinchenko only just back at Stamford Bridge, but excellent in that game. And it brings up the whole Tierney, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko debate again. I think it's only right a little bit later in this video we touch on that once we built the rest of the 11, because I think there's a very key role Zinchenko plays in all this.
Perfect. I want to get into that later. Let's go into the midfield. Thomas Partey. He keeps his place. He's been
immense at the Bridge. Absolutely immense.
Can't speak highly of these players this season. There's nothing we can really criticise. I must say, Thomas Partey, like you said, at the Bridge was the best I've seen of Thomas Partey.
Sorry, because I get so
OCD.
Yeah, I do. So anyway, there we go. I'm trying to make sure it's all in a straight line. Is Ramsdale even straight? I'm looking at an angle, guys. Oh, I've ruined it. Carry on.
All right. So in front of him, Granit Xhaka having a season of his life alongside Martin Odegaard.
And he really is. And I said in another video, it was a little bit of an apology to Xhaka because there were some people who saw a player in him that I didn't. I know you're looking at that and thinking it's a bit. Yeah, there we go. I don't think Xhaka ever reached these levels for Arsenal before. I don't think it's people who were saying back then that he was the player he is now were right. I think he always had it in him. We're clearly seeing it now with the performances. But I think he's just gone to another level. And I think he's been our player of the season.
Down to confidence. Confidence is a hell of a thing for footballers.
And the role he plays in and everything. He's been... But he looks more dynamic. He's carrying the ball more than I've ever seen him. He's getting into goal-scoring, dangerous positions. I actually think we always knew he had a good finish on him. But he's been absolutely superb.
What he's doing now is incredible. I remember we spoke about it at the Bridge when we said, like, a couple seasons ago, even last season, he couldn't really even spin on an axis. Like, he couldn't turn quick enough. It wasn't sharp, wasn't dynamic like you mentioned.
It didn't feel like he could. Maybe he always could. I mean, I think when I watch his highlights from his days at Borussia Mönchengladbach when we signed him, I thought we were getting that more energetic box-to-box midfielder, and we didn't see him. Wenger has said I think he's on record saying he's a box-to-box midfielder, but seemed to play him more as a deep-line playmaker. Now we're seeing Xhaka get forward and actually use his great stamina and engine, which we always knew he had, but now it's showing himself in games in the way he's pressing high up the pitch, but he's dropping deep to defend. He's been, Granit Xhaka for me, our player of the season. I think he's been amazing.
I also think his fitness has definitely improved. He's always been a fit player, but I watched him for Switzerland play in a position that he kind of played here for Arsenal, and I saw that level of Xhaka, and I thought, oh, is it because he's playing against weak international sides? Why can't he do this for Arsenal? And now we're seeing that Granit Xhaka
did it against France, didn't he?
Exactly, and we're seeing that in Arsenal, and congratulations to him as well, also in the World Cup squad as well.
Captain, I believe.
Yes.
If I'm not, so yeah. He's having a season to remember. Good
legend. Big up Granit Xhaka. All right, let's go into the front three. I mean, this really does pick itself, I must say. Saka on the right, Jesus.
Though I think there was a performance from Reiss Nelson to appreciate in the week. You know, can't say the same for everyone. Even though we lost to Brighton, I think Reiss. Let me just have a little look. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, fair enough. Was he that wide?
Oh, actually,
no. So you're messing with a masterpiece.
I'm just making sure.
No, look, I think. Reiss Nelson, I think, showing that he's the next in line to come in and add some depth to that front three. Nketiah got a good goal. Can't really speak on the rest of his performance. I didn't see it. But I heard that other players weren't particularly brilliant.
Yep.
Reiss Nelson is one that I think might come on with some time and give these guys a rest, but otherwise that front three, as you said, picks itself.
Beautiful front three that you can see there on your screen. Literally an international front three as well. I'm assuming Bukayo Saka's going to go. Time record, we don't know yet, but it's probably clear that he's going to be going to the World Cup for England. Jesus obviously selected in Marseille, so congratulations to them both. But a strong front three, a thriving front three. Oh, that's a tongue twister. And absolutely sensational players that I've really enjoyed this season. Bukayo Saka not dropping his level at all throughout every game. I think he's been absolute quality, Jesus. Regardless of the goals and goal scoring, which everyone keeps highlighting, he does definitely bring more to his Arsenal side when it comes to him not scoring the goals, and not in the same sense that Lacazette did. Way more than that. So big up Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli. Again, I think he's going to be a player that's going to have an even higher ceiling than most of the players who have at Arsenal. I think he's still got more to give and to work on in his performances, and he's going to fly.
You can tell we feel connected to these players, because when Martinelli got that surprise call up to a degree, not that it wasn't deserved, but I think a lot of people thought he might be overlooked. You know, the overwhelming support I saw online for Martinelli, there wasn't a sense of, I want him to stay because it protects him. It was so much love thrown his way because everyone is just so excited and happy for him. And I think that's the connection you feel for these players. This isn't just, we need you to go out there and do a job for us, please. You know, can you score goals, win points and do well? This is actually, like, fans feel a connection to this team. You see it in the celebrations at the bridge. We were there and everything. And this 11 in particular are a big part as to why we feel so connected. And listen, Tomiyasu's come in, done a brilliant job, and others have come in as well and really played their part. But you know, credit to them. We've now got to the final hurdle before the World Cup, and however wrong it can go at Molineux, we'll still end the day at worst 2 points off City, and that is testament to the great work that they've done over this 3 months of the season.
That is a great point, James. I'm just saying, take a look at the 11 you see on your screen here, and what player do you not connect with? I'll be honest, I think out of everyone, maybe Partey's the quietest, but he's so pivotal for an Arsenal good performance that we love him. But everyone on this screen, you're connected to. You feel attached to this club.
Have you seen the out of context Ben White page on Twitter?
No.
Yeah, it's about time. But whoever made that page. But,
I know his interview's been hilarious and whatnot. But I like I said, I feel closer to Ben White as well. I must say, keep your top on. I have to keep mentioning it because every time at the bridge it was raining. As soon as the final whistle went, celebrating. I'm like, bro, come on.
Let him enjoy it.
But let's get into, James, how this team. One, we'll get into why Arteta continues to pick Zinchenko over the likes of Tierney, and obviously we had Tomiyasu there, but I think Zinchenko goes straight back in, and we'll see that again on Saturday. But why? How does this team beat Wolves? Because Wolves have good players. They've got a good front line. Even though they're sitting so low in the table, in the relegation zone, picked up 3 red cards as well this season. Something that, listen, the players that got red carded,
2 in their last 2 games, I believe.
There you go. Semedo and Costa. Those players, especially Costa, are quite physical. But does this team falter when it comes to teams like that? It used to be us last season picking up red cards, but do you worry about us getting bullied in on Saturday's game? How do we beat this?
I don't think the bullying thing is something I'm thinking about. I'm thinking more tactically about it. Wolves, they've transitioned to play more of a back 4. They're a side that played a back 5, and And when you're playing back fives and teams that sit quite deep, they might do that for this game. You're going to need players like Xhaka that are able to get forward, run to the back post. I think what Arsenal do, and I think if they're to go the 4-3-3 Wolves like they've gone in previous games and more recently, then I think that's why Zinchenko is really, really important. Now, what we've been seeing, we know that Saka and Martinelli really hug the touchline, and we know that allows for some, especially Xhaka, to underlap, but Odegaard likes to get into this space and combine as well with Saka. Partey very much sits by himself, but what he does have either side of him is protection from White and Zinchenko. So the 2-3-5 is sort of what we've been seeing from Arsenal. Now, it looked a little different to me in the Chelsea game. What we saw was a front three, and if I'm just going to bring out three random orange icons, it was kind of Aubameyang, Havertz, Sterling, and then a midfield three that was meant to kind of compete as well. Let's put them there. Now, what I think was quite clever is when you've got a very kind of narrow 3-3, it can make it quite difficult to feed a player like Thomas Partey. What Arsenal did in the Chelsea game, to tweak it slightly, we talked about on Tactical Insight, is actually build up with Zinchenko coming incredibly central, and it just allowed for a few more lanes. Now, while ultimately in a game, and I said this on Tactical Insight, and I really want to stress this point, sometimes we oversimplify it when we do these kind of shows or whatever, because Arsenal will play so many different shapes and systems or whatever in one game.
Facts.
Sometimes Zinchenko will just overlap, Xhaka will slot in, and Martinelli will get into those spaces. That is what a good side does. They're flexible, they can do different things, and when you've got a player like Zinchenko's got a good left foot on him, can beat a man, it's not what you're known for doing, but he can do it. Can slot into these central areas as well. You know, it allows for Arsenal to be quite unpredictable. But the reason I think Arsenal might go for a similar thing, and the reason why I think Zinchenko keeps coming in, is because you've got a natural central midfielder in Zinchenko picking up these spaces and distributing with Thomas Partey. Gabriel was really wide in the Chelsea game. He was really wide in terms of receiving the ball and stretching the pitch, and you know, ensuring we maintain possession, because Arsenal and Arteta want to use as much of the pitch as possible.
Yeah, fact.
So whether Wolves sit off and play a back five and try and just invite pressure and say to Arsenal, well, what have you got? How creative can you be? That might be one thing. But if they go with a 4-3-3 again, we've seen Neves sitting at the base. We've seen Traore, who I believe is a new signing, or at least coming this season. Nunes, I don't know if he's fit or available, but he might start there. You know, they've got some good players in that midfield three, and rather than just go man for man, I think Arteta will want to overload it, and that's what we've been doing with Zinchenko. That's what worked to the bridge.
So that's why you say he's going to be picked over Tierney, because he offers more in that midfield, and we do see that. We see that a lot from Arsenal so far. There was a team, I think it's Leeds. I need to make sure I double check this. Okay, you go into this.
I was just going to say, when it's Tierney, he wants to occupy this space.
Yeah.
And we've seen that more so in the Europa League and the Cup games. Well, the Brighton game I didn't see, but he, you know, when that's what they do, it tends to be, if we just take Zinchenko out, it tends to be that the central midfielder sits and the winger comes a little bit tighter. So Tierney, he came on against Southampton, did really well. You know, offering that overlap where we need a goal, came on against Chelsea and was able to solidify things defensively. Tierney has a big part to play, I believe, in this squad. But I just think in terms of controlling games and getting that early kind of foothold in the match, Zinchenko allows us to do that, dominate the game, take it to the hour mark, and then Tierney has his part to play. Tierney won't like that necessarily, but it's been working for Arsenal.
It has been working. Do you know what? I find this so interesting, because you see Arsenal, you'd think the way to beat this, we saw against United, we lost in the counter-attack. We saw against Brighton in the midweek that it was more counter-attacking football that caught us out. And if I was a manager playing against Arsenal, I'll be saying that, because we throw so many men forward, as you can see here. We normally do see Xhaka as well, sometimes higher here. Obviously, when Zinchenko's playing, and Partey can sometimes be left just to cover around the back line. So the way to get out of this is you play quick, you play over the top through ball and catch teams out. And I'm sure it was
Chelsea
Leeds.
Tried to do that though.
Well, you think you're taking my points.
Sorry.
I think Leeds used to do. They do this. They are so intense, but you can catch them out by simply just putting it over the top. But that's why teams that go and play against Leeds, that try and play proper football against them, tend to struggle. We did when we went away there, but the over the top is where it happens. We saw Chelsea, like you said, they reverted to that. They had just thought, do you know what, clip it long, we'll catch them, because they're throwing so many men forward. But that is a credit to our back line, because that for me, that's the only way you beat Arsenal. However, these guys deal with it so well, whether that's Gabriel being the aggressor and going to the ball, and then Saliba, his recovery runs are sensational, and I mean, I got to give him applause. You've got to give him credit for what they're doing. And I think that's the only way you kind of beat this Arsenal side is the long ball, which I mean, I hate seeing it, but we seem to be dealing with the first team, but we got caught out against United, and again, Brighton, even though it was a second fiddle team in when it came to the EFL Cup, that's the only way I see Arsenal side losing. But big up to the teams they've been dealing with it, like we saw at Chelsea.
Well, sometimes to deal with the counter, and we had sustained spells of possession against Chelsea at the Bridges. This is kind of the wrong side of the pitch to show you. Let me see if I can actually just flip this around, show the full pitch. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, a little bit of a mess. But if we just bring everyone forward just for a sec, just to quickly make this point. When Arsenal are, trying to, if you bring them forward, trying to do something on the edge of the opposition box, that is when...
Sorry.
That's all right. There we go. Let's move Saliba there, Gabriel there. It's not a great way to describe it, guys. We'll move these players out the way. But this is when you have your fullbacks forming more of a shield in front of the two centre-backs. Mm-hmm. And against Chelsea, they will just kind of sit on that space on the edge of the box, because then when they try and play out, they're there. And we saw that with the Tomiyasu tackle against Nottingham Forest that led to the first goal. Yeah. It's Tomiyasu that wins it as far as they're trying to play out, because they've won the ball back, and we get it again and we go and sucker punch them with the goal. So they have multiple roles, the fullbacks across different areas of the pitch, and they've been immense for us.
You got to give Arteta credit, because it is high risk, high reward here, people. If you think about it, we've been seeing Ben White doing the overlap around so much recently, and that kind of leaves, with Zinchenko in that midfield, it leaves sometimes this, which is crazy to think. That, it's great when it's high risk because you can get a goal from it, but if a team's good enough and quick enough, they should be able to expose this really, but they don't. So I have to give, again, hats off to Mikel Arteta and for the players being able to really slow down the play when teams are trying to break, slow them down to get back in, and the fitness of the players to stop us conceding. It's amazing to watch. It really is, and hopefully this Saturday against Wolves we see it from Arsenal. That is our predicted 11 for Saturday's game against Wolves. We'd love to know what you think. Do you agree with all of this? I mean, like I said at the beginning, it picks itself, the 11 really, but do you expect Arsenal to pick up the win? Do you agree with Zinchenko starting over Tierney, even Tomiyasu? Is that something you felt that you prefer seeing? I mean, no, me and James both prefer Zinchenko and seeing him in the team. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care, people.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.